Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Well, we're going to go all the way back to the 1930s this hour with an episode of Death Valley Days and the Burro That Had No Name. This episode of the show, which also was sponsored by Borax, was originally broadcast June 17th, 1938.
As the old morning bugle call of the covered wagon trains dies away among the echoes, another true story of Death Valley Days is brought to you by the Pacific Coast Borax Company, who give you the miracle of borax in 3 convenient forms: 20 Mule Team Borax for household use, 20 Mule Team Borax soap chips for washing clothes and dishes, and the new Boraxo for toilet use. Before you become absorbed in the old ranger's story for tonight, we would like to take just a moment of your time to tell you something about Boraxo. Boraxo was created in response to the insistent demands from women for a product that would cleanse the skin as safely as 20 Mule Team Borax cleanses painted woodwork or bathroom porcelain or your fine china and glassware. Well, the letters we receive every day praising Boraxo tell us that we have succeeded in meeting this demand. For, say our new customers who have discovered Boraxo, your Boraxo does just what we wanted. It cleanses dirty hands and the children's knees and elbows like magic. It works so fast that the children no longer have any excuse to be late for meals. They can wash up in a jiffy with Boraxo. And best of all, I know that they will come to the table not only really clean, but with smooth, soft skin. Your Boraxo cleanses the skin as quickly as your 20 Mule Team Borax cleans our houses. And that is saying something. And like 20 Mule Team Borax, it cleanses without doing any damage. Thank you for your wonderful new product, Boraxo. And thank you, too, for Death Valley Days, which all of us love. And now, here's the Old Ranger.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, and a hearty welcome to you all.
And now, Old Ranger, what's the story for tonight?
Well, it's a story I hardly expect you to believe, but it's the absolute truth just the same.
Why, Old Ranger, you know I believe every word you utter on the air.
Say, George, you don't like the way you say on the air. However, I'll let it pass this time, and now you just pin back your ears and hark to the story of the burro that had no name.
Well, wouldn't it be a good idea before you start, Old Ranger, to explain exactly what a burro is? There may be some of our listeners who don't know.
Well, don't know what a burro is?
Well, not by that name, anyway.
Sure they do. Why, the word burro is as common as horse.
Well, out where you come from, maybe.
Everywhere.
It's not in the encyclopedia.
How do you know?
Because I looked. When you told us last week about this burro story, I thought I'd study up a bit on burros.
Oh, steal a march on the audience, eh? So you went to the encyclopedia?
Yes, and I took down the volume labeled Bray, B-R-A-I, to cast.
Bray. Well, that was a good thing to look under.
Just the same, the word burro was nowhere to be found.
Maybe you don't know how to spell it.
B-U-R-R-O.
That's right. And you're sure it wasn't there?
Absolutely. From Elihu Burritt, they jumped right to John Burroughs.
Well.
So then I turned to donkey, and all it said there was see ass.
And all it said there, I suppose, was see Balaam. Well, since you couldn't find the word burro in your dictionary, George, I'll enlighten you. A burr is the same as a donkey, or a jackass. In the desert, we generally call them jacks for short. They stand about 4 foot high. Their coats is furry, Their ears is long, their tails is sort of like a piece of rope frayed at the end. Their hoofs is small and sharp, but their teeth is big and sharp, and their voices is something fearful. There you are. And now, since you got a mental picture of the animal, well, let's get going on the yarn. The scene opens in the mining camp of Rhyolite. It's the year 1905. Walter Scott Smith, known as Smitty, and his partner, Ole Martin, are negotiating with a feller in Rhyolite for a string of burros with which to start out into the hills.
2 for packs and 1 for water.
Yeah.
Now, if you can just fix us up with a couple of good riding burros.
I can give you 2 of the finest riding burros in Nevada. Blackjack here and Samson.
How much?
50 apiece.
50? We'll give you 30.
Ah, you go to blazes. Why, them pack animals bring 35.
Holy smoke. Well, that's highway robbery.
Try and buy 'em somewhere else, then.
$35 for a pack burro?
And 50 for a saddle burro. These 2 critters is worth it, too. Why, I've rode 'em both myself, and I know. Why, Blackjack brung me once all the way from Gold Circle to Battle Mountain. A 60-mile trip in 10 hours. And Samson...
We'll give you 40 apiece for 'em.
50 or nothing.
I never paid as much as $50 for a burro in my life.
Well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can give you a cheaper pack burro in place of one of them you picked out.
Yeah? Which one?
That one over yonder, sniffing at the pile of tin cans. Now, I could give you
The white burro?
Yeah. I'll let you have him for $20.
I wouldn't take him as a gift.
15.
You think I'd be fool enough to go prospecting with a white burro?
Hey, what's the matter with a white burro?
Well, they're unlucky, that's what. Unluckiest thing there is.
So you don't really believe that, do you?
We could swing $15. You ain't suggesting that we buy that white jack.
Well...
Pay $15 for a Jonah, a Jinx, a Hoodoo? Only you're crazy. You must have been out walking in the sun without your hat on.
He ain't really white, Smitty. He's kind of grayish.
He's as white as you or me.
Well, we ain't exactly lilies.
I'll make you a price of $12 for him. How's that?
You shut up.
I'm talking to your partner.
If he buys that white burro off of you, he's no longer my partner.
Oh, Smitty.
I mean it, Ole. You and me's been prospecting together since Panamint days. We've slept under the same blanket, drunk out of the same canteen, gone 50-50 on every strike we've made. I think a heap of you. But if you pay as much as 2 bits for that ill wind yonder, our trails is going to part. So help me.
I guess we'll just take 4 burros, mister.
It was on the second night out. Ole and Smitty were finished with their supper, and Ole went over to feed the leavings to the burros.
All right, I'm coming. One at a time now. What? Why, hello.
What's the matter?
Am I counting noses right? 1, 2, 3.
One of our jacks missing?
No, seems we've acquired an extra one.
Got 5 now, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if those fool greenhorns don't know enough to tie their critters up, they deserve to lose them. Let me have a look. So,
huh?
It's the white burro.
Well, it's a white burro.
It's the same white burro that sharper in Rhyolite tried to palm off on us.
Oh, now, that ain't likely, Smitty.
I recognize him.
In the dark like
What's
this?
more, he recognizes us. Look at that glint in his eye.
Oh, I don't see no glint.
He's a-grinning at us, gloating over us. The blasted little devil. You're to blame for this, Ole. It's all your fault.
My fault?
It's on account of you he's followed us here, and it's up to you now to get rid of him.
Well, how?
How? You ask me how?
Well...
We'll fire rocks at him, cuss him, kick him.
I wouldn't want to do that.
All right, then, I will.
No, you leave him to me. I'll make it plain to him that he ain't welcome around here.
Well, see that you do. Pronto. I'll be washing up the supper thing.
All right. Now, here, you critters. Here's your grub. Now, don't you be so greedy, Samson. Don't you know there's others to share with?
You through with that tail yet, Ole?
Yep.
Then I'll take it and wash it along with the frying pan and... Holy Martin.
What's the matter?
You fed that burro.
Which burro?
The white burro.
Ah, now, Smitty.
You needn't deny it. Look at him licking his lips.
Well, that's just...
Just some bacon grease he's trying to get off his whiskers.
Well, you're imagining things, Smitty.
Is that piece of flapjack sticking to his nose my imagination?
Oh, well...
You fed that burro. And you just promised me you'd get rid of him.
I will, Smitty, honest.
Honest?
Right away.
It's too late. We'll never be rid of him now.
Well,
that evil little blighter will trail us wherever we go, bringing us nothing but bad luck.
Look, he's leaving now. What did I tell you?
Yeah.
He's walking right off into the desert. You see, he's savvy.
He's savvy that supper is over, but he'll be back. You just wait and see.
The next morning, when Ole opened his eyes, he looked around fearfully. Then he breathed a sigh of relief. The white burro was nowheres in sight. Well, breakfast over, the partners packed up their outfit and moved on farther into the hills. That evening, they made a dry camp, and while Smitty unpacked and prepared supper, Ole went off with one of the pack burros to rustle a supply of firewood. It was almost dark when he returned.
And we'll see what happened when he came back. Death Valley Days, June 17th, 1938, on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Hey gang, just a note to let you know that we've notified all of our radio stations that our final episode of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox will be broadcast on all of our radio stations on June 30th of 2023. It is not something of your radio station. It's not because you haven't been responsive. It's because my doctors have said I need to take time off, and I need to take a significant time off. I can no longer work 90 hours a week. It's just that simple. So to let you know, listen to the shows, enjoy the shows while you can. Go to our friend Ted at RadioMemories.com. He supplies a lot of shows. And go to our webpage at classicradio.stream and learn how you can build your own classic radio collection. But again, June 30th will end Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You're listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I love these shows from the 1930s. This one, Death Valley Days and the Burro That Had No Name, June 17th, 1938.
I begun to think you was lost or had struck gold, maybe.
No, just that wood was scarce, and this critter wanted to lay down all the time. Hey, what smells so good?
I got a treat for us tonight.
What is it?
Fresh bread.
No.
Uh-huh.
Why, you old son of a gun.
2 loaves.
Where are they?
In the Dutch oven, keeping warm.
Fresh bread.
Yes, sir. Hey, when it's my turn to do the cooking, I produce real grub.
Well, if you're casting aspersions on my meals, hey, what else we gonna have?
Mulligan, coffee, Dawson plums.
With a loaf of bread apiece? Why, that ought to do it.
Hey, we're saving one of them loaves for tomorrow.
Ah, don't be stingy.
You call a half a loaf of bread stingy? Say, them big loaves.
Well, I could eat a whole batch without any help. I'm hungry as a wolf.
Well, everything's ready as soon as you are.
Well, then, let's eat.
All right, I'll be dishing up the mulligan.
And I'll get the bread out of the oven.
That oven was a good buy, Ole.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the crust of that bread. A nice, even, golden brown.
Where'd you say it was, Smitty?
What?
The bread.
Why, right where you're looking, in the oven.
No, it ain't.
Oh, sure it is.
I tell you it ain't. The oven's empty.
Say, what have you been drinking?
Well, if you don't believe me, come on and look for yourself.
Oh, you never could find nothing, no way. But...
See?
Well, I'll be darned. Where'd you put them?
Me?
You sneaked them out and hid them. I know.
I did nothing of the kind.
Come on, tell me.
Why, I ain't so much as laid eyes on them loaves of bread, Smitty, I swear.
Well, somebody's took them. They was in this oven here not 5 minutes ago.
You sure?
Of course I'm sure. I come over and took a look at them to see if they was done, just before you come in.
You don't suppose one of the burros could have stole them, do you, while your back was turned?
Oh, how could a burro lift up the lid of a Dutch oven and carry off 2 loaves of bread?
You'd have to be educated.
Blamedest thing I ever knowed. 2 loaves of bread disappearing into thin air.
Maybe you didn't bake 'em at all. Maybe you just dreamed it.
You smelled them, didn't you?
That's right, I did.
Ole.
Yeah?
Ole. Look. Over yonder. Where I'm pointing. What's that sticking out from behind that big boulder?
Why, it looks like a couple of long cactus leaves.
It's a pair of ears.
Maybe.
White ears. Ole, it's...
Now, don't jump at conclusions, Smitty. Let's go see.
I told you this would happen. I knowed he'd turn up again. There, and you see, I was right.
Sure enough, it's old Whitey.
Don't!
What's the matter?
Don't you dare give him a name.
Well, why not?
Don't you know that once you name an animal, he's yours?
Well, who says so?
Why, it stands to reason.
You mean?
So long as he's got no name, he's a stray, a stranger, a rank outsider. But just you give him a name, any kind of a name, and he belongs to you.
I see.
What are you laughing at?
For a stranger, this fella has certainly made himself right at home. Look.
My bread.
What's left of it.
My beautiful, fresh, hot, crusty bread. Oh, you varmint, you. You thieving little son of a rustler. You voracious fuzztail.
Careful, Smitty. Don't call him names.
Calling him names ain't the same as giving him names. I can call him all the names in the dictionary if I feel like it. Yes, and I do. Yeah. Grin. Grin, you lop-eared, sawed-off limb of Satan. You white curse. You evil-eyed, aspinurious imp of darkness. You... Well, I reckon I'll hit the hay.
Well, you can turn in if you want to. I'm going to set up a while longer.
What for?
Oh, I just ain't sleepy, that's all. I'll smoke another pipeful and...
And wait up for him, huh?
Wait for who?
You can't fool me, Ole. You're worrying about that Burro.
Do you suppose something has happened to him, Smitty?
Well, let's hope so. Then maybe our luck will change.
Oh, I can't see as we've had any bad luck on this trip.
No, nor any good luck, neither. We ain't smelled a smell of ore. Ole, look.
Where?
Coming toward us. Out of the night.
What?
It's him.
The prodigal?
Hush, hush, will you? If he hears you...
Well, that ain't him. Why, if it was him, he'd be braying by now. That Burro ain't making a sound.
It's his ghost, then. Come to haunt us. It's the spitting image.
You're right, Smitty, it is.
His ghost?
No, himself.
What's he walking so queer for?
Why, he's sick or hurt or something. What is it, old boy? What's happened? Come over here by the fire where I can see you.
His eyes is closed tight.
And his head's all swelled up.
Say, what in tarnation?
Looks queer around the jaw, too. Open your mouth, fella, and let's have a look. Open your mouth.
Won't, huh?
You can't. His teeth is clenched.
What is it, lockjaw?
Rattlesnake bite.
Huh?
Look, here on the nose. You can see where the fangs went in.
Yes, sir. He's done for, then.
We may be able to save him.
Save him?
We'll do our best anyhow.
Say, are you crazy?
Where's that permanganate of potassium?
Ole!
Oh, here it is.
What are you going to do?
Rub it in the wound, of course.
Ole, you...
Stand still, old fella. I won't hurt you. Now, this is going to do you good.
Ole, have you went clean out of your senses? This critter's a jinx. A hoodoo.
We can't just stand by and watch him die.
Well, why not? We don't want him. Nobody wants him.
That makes no difference. He's a poor, dumb animal, and he's in misery.
Then put him out of it.
Well, just what I'm trying to do.
I mean, shoot him, you fool.
No.
All right.
You put that gun down.
You quit working on him, then.
I can't, Smitty. Don't you see I can't?
Why can't you?
He come to us for help. He trusts us.
Trusts us? A white Burro.
Well, it ain't his fault he was born white.
Only you...
Look. His eyes is opening. The potassium permanganate is beginning to work.
Oh.
His jaw is loosening. Now, if I can just get some whiskey down him...
Hey, that's my whiskey.
It's our whiskey. Here, boy.
Ole, I've stood for a lot. But if you pour so much as one drop of that liquor down that white varmint's throat, we bust up, you and me.
Tip your head back. That's it. Now let me stick the bottle in between your teeth. So.
Ole, I'm warning you.
A little more. There. Now we're through.
Yeah, we're through.
Smitty.
You can take your pick of the burros, Ole, and your share of the grub and things.
You're not going on?
No. I'm going back to Rhyolite.
And now, 10 days later, in a brilliantly lighted saloon in Rhyolite, we find Smitty doing his best to forget about Ole and the white burro.
He's in his second childhood. That's all you can say for him.
Yeah, have another.
I don't mind if I do. Yes, sir. Ole needs a nurse or a keeper or something. What's the matter?
Oh, can you beat that? A burro walking straight in through the swinging doors. He's looking for a drink. See, he's heading straight for the bar.
Jumping Jehoshaphat. It's the white burro.
What?
Your burro I was just telling you about. He's come back to hoodoo me again.
You're just saying things. Here, have another drink.
It's him, I tell you. Look at that scar on his nose. That's where the rattlesnake bit him.
Must mean Ole's back then.
Funny he'd come back so soon. Said he was going to stay out another 30 days.
Say, maybe located something.
Not with that white burro along.
Not a very nice burro. From June 17, 1938, Death Valley Days here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion follows these very important messages from your favorite radio station. Just going to take a minute here to tell you about the big savings going on now, the clearance sale at mypillow.com. And you know, I've talked about how in my office I have a pair of my slippers, and they're really comfortable, and they're on clearance right now. The mypillow.com slippers, $25 a pair, limit 10. And I would buy 3 or 4 more pairs. Unfortunately, they're out of my size. They also have sheets, pillowcases, clothing items, all on special right now. Go to mypillow.com, click on the clearance tab at the top of the page, use my promo code Wyatt, or call 1-800-928-4715. Limited sizes remaining in the MyPillow slippers, limited colors on other items. mypillow.com, clearance tab, promo code Wyatt, 1-800-928-4715. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Now the conclusion of Death Valley Days, going all the way back to June 17th, 1938. The burro that has no name, but it does have a loud voice.
Look out, he's going to bite you. Hey, get away from me, you unlucky varmint. What do you mean, grabbing hold of my coat? Let go of me, you hear me? Get away from me. Get out of here. Go on back to that old fool, Ole. Yeah, that done it.
He knows Ole's name all right, don't he?
Why wouldn't he? Well, why don't you go? What are you standing there for? What are you looking at me like that for? Take them eyes off of me, you hear me?
Say, he's trying to tell you something, Smitty.
Oh, I ain't interested.
Yeah, something's troubling him.
Yeah, his conscience, maybe.
You don't suppose something could have went wrong, do you, with Ole?
Be his own fault if it did.
I just wondered.
Well, what could have happened to him?
Oh, nothing most likely.
Ole's a old desert rat. He knows all the water holes in Nevada. Got plenty of grub.
Well, that being the case, how about another drink?
No, I've had enough, thanks.
This one's on the house.
I can't stop now. All right, you. Where is he? Is he here in Rhyolite? No? Then show me where.
Hey, Smitty, where you going?
Wherever this critter takes me.
You mean?
I'm going to look up Ole.
Well, it was just about sundown of the third day out that they found him. laying unconscious at the bottom of a narrow canyon.
Ole. Thank the Lord he's still alive. Ole.
Huh?
It's me, Smitty.
Smitty.
I come as fast as I could,
He brung you here, did he?
Straight as a die.
Good boy.
He turned up in Rhyolite.
Just like I told him to.
I knowed right off that something was wrong. What happened, Ole? Where you hurt?
My leg.
Broke?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see.
I was following some float up the mountain. It was getting dark. Like a fool, I didn't want to stop, and somehow or other I lost my footing and fell.
Clear down here?
Yeah, oh.
It's a wonder you wasn't killed outright.
Shows how tough I am.
Gosh.
I knowed I could never make it back to town, even if I had a burro to ride.
What happened to your burros?
They went off. I don't know where. All but this fellow. He stuck by me until I sent him away to get help. I figured I had enough water to last me till you could get here, if you'd come.
Why, Ole, of course I'd come.
I didn't know. I was sort of afraid.
You think I'd let you die out here alone?
Alone with my samples.
Huh?
They're around here somewhere.
Samples?
Of ore. I run across something mighty good, Smitty. Here's one of them. Take a good look at it.
Let me see. High grade.
I'll say.
Real picture rock.
I'll bet she says a trip to Europe for ton. If we wanted to go to Europe, which we don't.
We?
You and me.
Oh, but Ole,
We're still partners, ain't we, Smitty?
Ole, I don't deserve it after the way I treated you.
Heck, you just saved my life, didn't you?
It wasn't me. It was the white burro.
A white burro.
Ole.
Yeah?
Have you named him yet?
No.
Then let's give him a name now.
Smitty.
After all, he's earned it.
You know what it'll mean, don't you?
That he'll be ours for the rest of his life.
Yes.
All right. I'm willing.
You have been listening to another true story of Death Valley Days, brought to you by the Pacific Coast Borax Company, producers of 20 Mule Team Borax for household use, 20 Mule Team Borax soap chips in the big blue and yellow sunshine box for washing clothes and dishes, and the new Boraxo for toilet use. Your grocer can supply you with all of these products. All of them are inexpensive. All of them bring the miracle of borax into your home in convenient form. For example, 20 Mule Team Borax, in its neat red and white and black package, is the perfect cleanser for ice boxes. Why? Because 20 Mule Team Borax is a gleaming white powder that is clean as desert sunshine itself and absolutely odorless. Just what you want to cleanse food containers. Take a pan or bucket of warm water and dump some 20 Mule Team Borax in it. Wring out a clean cloth or sponge in it and wipe the entire inside of the icebox. Take the cube trays out and wash them separately, again in warm water in which 20 Mule Team Borax has been dissolved. When you are through, you will have the satisfaction of knowing that your icebox, where most of the family food is kept in summer, is absolutely sweet and clean, with no odor left from the cleansing to spoil the flavor of the food.
No identification of any of the cast, way it was back in the 30s most of the time. June 17th, 1938, Death Valley Days on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Our friend Ted at RadioMemories.com has fully restored a whole slew of the Lum and Abner shows, and that's what we're going to hear right now. Another episode of Lum and Abner thanks to Ted at RadioMemories.com. as we find out what's going on at the Pine Ridge Planetarium. This episode, June 17th, 1935.
Here we are, all ready to take you down to Pine Ridge for another visit with Lum and Abner. Brought to you by the makers of Horlicks, the original malted milk. And now, let's see what's happening down in Pine Ridge. Well, the Pine Ridge Planetarium opened Saturday afternoon with a free matinee that drew a capacity crowd. However, Squire Skimp got all the paid admission business Saturday night. And Lum and Abner haven't taken in enough business to pay expenses. As we look in on Pine Ridge today, we find the two old fellows down at the Jot 'em Down store, evidently very discouraged with the show business. Listen.
Well, letting them all in for nothing Saturday afternoon might have had something to do with it, Abner.
Yeah, it might have, for I never seen so many people in my life we had down there.
Yeah, they all seen it for nothing that afternoon. Naturally, they weren't going to come back that night and pay to see it.
No, that might have been it, Lum, for I know Squire sure had a crowd over at his place Saturday night. They just might not have broke the stairs down getting up there.
Yeah.
Had to run a picture over twice, Elizabeth said.
Elizabeth said? Was she there?
Oh, yeah, her and Pearl both went.
Well, that's a fine howdy to do. Your whole family going over to our competitor's place of business.
Well, they done saw our show Saturday afternoon, Lum.
Well, they could at least come back that night and made it look like we had a crowd anyway. I think Grandma and Grandpa Bates got kind of lonesome sitting down there in the front row by themselves.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. But it was nice of them to come, weren't it?
Well, yes, but they went to Squire's place first, you know. They never knowed it was in the old lodge hall upstairs there, and Grandma weren't able to climb them steps. That's the reason they come over there.
Yeah, well, sir, that's one advantage we've got over Squire, having ours on the ground floor that way.
Yeah, we'll get all them that can't climb them steps over there, but I hate to take just the leavings that way. I got awful lonesome sitting out there in the box office in front there.
Yeah, I know. I had to wake you up when I come out there to tell you that the show was over. You sound asleep.
Well, something's got to be did, Abner. We can't go on this way. Ain't even paying extra.
I believe that's our ring, Lum.
Yeah. I hope it ain't nobody wanting groceries delivered. I ain't in no humor to put up no grocery order.
No, me neither.
Hello? This is the Pine Ridge Planetarium, Jot 'em Down store talking. I mean, Lum Edwards talking. Who?
Don't know who it is.
Oh, how are you, Miss Phillips?
Oh, Miss Phillips.
Why, we've got the same picture that we had Saturday, the Texas Kid. It's a uncommonly good... Oh, you did? Well, you might enjoy seeing it again. I know I liked it better the second time.
Yeah, me too. Know them fellers better now.
Well, of course, everybody's different that way. Well, we're going to change pictures Wednesday night again. Yes, Ma. Well, I don't know yet what it'll be. We don't know till they get out here, you know. Yes, Mom. All right, thank you for calling. Yeah. Goodbye, Mom. Oh, goodbye.
Are they coming to the show tonight, Lum?
No, she said she's seen it Saturday afternoon free for nothing.
Oh.
Granny's every time that phone's rung today, it's been somebody wanting to know what the picture show's going to be tonight, and when I tell them, they all say they seen it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I believe that's a mistake, keeping that same picture for 3 days that way, Lum.
Well, I asked that feller who runs the Lyric in there at the county seat, and he said he kept the same picture for 3 days because it was cheaper that way.
Yeah, but now Squire Skimp's got a brand new one tonight. Gonna have Granddaddy Longlegs over there.
Daddy Longlegs is the name of it. You're thinking about them bugs they call Granddaddy Longlegs.
No, I was thinking about the picture all right, but I just said the wrong name.
That's what I say.
Oh.
That's what's been worrying me all day. I'm just busting to see that picture, but I don't think it'd look right for us to be going over to Squire's show.
No. Of course, we might could dress ourselves up to where nobody wouldn't know us.
Dress ourselves up?
Yeah, I was just thinking I could wear that Santa Claus suit I've got over at the place that I used last Christmas over at the schoolhouse there.
Yeah, you look fine over there with that get-up on this time of year. Children's all see you and think it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
Break up the show over there. They'd all want to follow you out of there.
Hey, doggies, now that might be a good idea. I could just lead 'em right on over to our show and charge them all 10 cents to follow me inside.
No, that wouldn't work, Abner.
It might.
I could wear a pair of them dark sunglasses and pull my hat down over my face right good to where nobody wouldn't know me.
Well, law me, Lum, you couldn't see the show with them smoked glasses on.
Yeah, that's right. Grannies, I wish nobody around here knowed me. No, I don't need
Ah, there's our ring again.
Yeah, I'll get it. Hello? This is the Jot 'em Down store. Lum Edder's doing the talking. Why, we've got the same show tonight that we had Saturday, the Texas Kid.
Yeah, now they won't come. They done seen it.
Oh, yes, it is. It's an uncommonly good picture. You will? Well, good for you. Good for you. All right, Mose, we be looking for you. Much obliged. There's a fine man, you know it.
Who was it, Mose Moot?
Yeah, and they're coming to the show tonight. He had to work Saturday and couldn't see it.
Oh, him, huh?
Oh, what's the matter?
Well, nothing, except you give him a pass, didn't you?
Huh? Yeah, that's right, I did.
Why, sure.
I wished I'd have thought of that so's I wouldn't have been so nice to him. We may have to run that whole show for just him and his family.
Well, I wondered
Wait, look yonder.
Oh, for goodness sakes, what's he doing coming over here?
I don't know.
Looks to me like he'd have learned enough the other day when we run him out over there to stay away from us.
Yeah, Granny's. Found he's coming over here with another one of his propositions trying to buy us out.
Yeah, there ain't no telling, Dad. Blame it, I wished he'd stay away from here.
Yeah, I'm surprised at him showing his face again. Don't act mad, Abner. We don't want him to think we're downhearted or nothing. He don't know how much business we're doing, you know.
That make him think we're doing a big business, huh?
Oh, yeah. Don't let on now. Come in, Squire.
Well, good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. How are my old friends today?
You mean us?
Oh, we're both feeling all right, I think. Ain't we, Lum?
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, how's the show business, man?
Well, just fine. Awful well pleased with it.
How is it with you, Squire?
Well, frankly, gentlemen, I'm a little disappointed. I never had to give but 2 shows Saturday night, but I'll look for a nice turnout tonight. Expect to run 3 or 4 shows anyway. A good picture I've got over there, too.
Yeah, it's a shame you ain't doing no better. I reckon we had most of the business Saturday night.
Huh, Lum?
Hush up, Abner.
Yes, well, I'm making some changes over there. It's going to help things, I believe. I let Grandpappy Spears go today and hired the Macmillan boys and their string band. Going to have them give a concert out in front of the theater every night there, and I believe it'll attract a big crowd.
You say you let Grandpap go?
Yes, that player piano wasn't enough music by itself.
Well, I thought you had Grandpap sign a 3-month contract to work for you.
Well, I did, Lum, but that was just binding him. There wasn't anything in the contract that said how long that I'd keep him. Yeah, he never sees Squire Skimp get himself into anything that he can't get out of.
That's kind of hard on Grandpap, though. He quit us to go to work for you.
Well, that's his hard luck, Lum. He ought to know what he's assigning.
Well, he knowed. He told us it was a contract.
So Grandpap's out of a job now, huh?
Yes, I'm afraid so. But that's not what I come over to see you men about at all.
Well, if you come over here to make another offer on buying a 3rd interest in our picture show, Squire, you're just wasting your time. I can tell you that right now.
No, now, Lum, I've changed my mind about that. I wouldn't have a 3rd interest in your show if you'd give it to me. I just wanted to make some arrangements with you men to take care of the overflow from my theater over there.
The overflow?
Yes, I see right now that I'm not going to be able to take care of the crowds over at my place, and if I can make a deal with you to take care of the overflow, I'll send them on over to your place. And I'll give you 5 cents on every one that I send over there.
Wait a minute. You mean anybody that you send over to our show, we just get a nickel of the admission?
Well, yes, I think that's fair enough, Lum. You won't have anybody over there except those that I can't get in my place anyway.
Well, I'll tell you right now, we ain't interested. Our price is a quarter, and that's what they'll have to pay to get in. And when they do pay it, we aim to keep it. The best thing for you to do, Squire, is just run that business of yours and let us run ours.
Yeah, and quit coming over here making these propositions. We ain't interested in nothing that you've got anything to do with.
You think you've got the best of us in this picture show business, but we ain't through yet. Fact is, we ain't good and started.
Well, if that's the way you gentlemen feel about it, all right. But don't come around to me later begging me to make you some kind of an offer. I was just trying to help you, is all I was trying to do. But now I'll break you. I'll have that place of yours closed in a week's time.
Well, we'll get along without you, don't you worry.
Yeah, we'll see who does a break-in around here.
Just leave us alone, that's all we ask.
Yeah, good day, gentlemen, good day.
All right, is him letting Grandpap go after promised him 3 months' work.
Yeah.
All right, Granny's hand me that statute book, Abner. I've got an idea here.
Yeah, sure. What's the matter? What you want with it, Lum?
Well, Grandpap's got a contract that calls for 3 months' work over there, and I believe he can make Squire pay him for 3 months' work where he works or not.
Well, he ought to after getting Grandpap to quit his job over here.
Let's see, where would I find such as that in here?
Him anyway. I hate that old man.
Ordinances. Don't reckon it'd be in there, city ordinances, would it?
I don't know, Lum. I don't know.
Here's some old ones in there made way back, yon.
Well.
Here's that old one we found once before about it being against the law for a feller to drive an automobile down the main street without somebody going along in front carrying a red flag warning everybody that he's coming up the street.
Yeah, I recollect that.
But he'd have a hard time doing that nowadays.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Here's another old one. It shall be unlawful to hold a theatrical entertainment in any building above the ground floor because of the fire hazard. Any violation of this ordinance.
Wait a minute, Lum. Is that still a law?
Yeah, never has been appealed. Of course, nobody don't pay no attention to it.
Well, could you arrest somebody for running a picture show on the upstairs of a building now?
Wait a minute. I believe I know what you're talking about. Let me read that thing again. It shall be unlawful to hold a theatrical entertainment in any building above the ground floor because of the fire hazard. Any violation?
Well, this looks like a mighty good way to eliminate some very disagreeable competition. This is Carlton Brickert, speaking for Lum and Abner and Horlicks, who now bid you all good night and good health.
Ooh, what an interesting thing to find out. From June 17th, 1935, Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for tuning in. Would you thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It is their kindness and courtesy that allow us to be here each and every time we roll around. A card or a letter to this radio station would mean more than you could possibly anticipate. We thank them so much. We never forget that they've got choices, and we're glad that they chose us, and we're glad that you are choosing us. Now, on our webpage, classicradio.stream, you can learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can not only find our shows available on demand, but you can also find links to sites that have our shows available by a podcast. You can also find our social media links to Twitter and Facebook. And you can also buy me a copy to help us acquire additional classic radio collections and maintain our distribution channels. All that at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.